We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer. We are amigos. And that's why we call ourselves the Beer Amigos.
Everybody.
We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer. We are amigos. And that's why we call ourselves the Beer Amigos. The Beer Amigos.
Hey, this is Travis.
And this is Mike.
And we are
The Beer Amigos!
It's January 25th, 2014, Mike, and where are we?
We are at the 5th annual Long Island Nano Cask Ale Festival in Rocky Point, New York.
Oh yeah, hosted by the Rocky Point Artisan Brewers. Mike, who do we talk to tonight?
Donavan Hall from Rocky Point. This episode is dedicated specifically to this event, giving Rocky Point their due time, and we put in our due diligence. So we hopefully you tune in and check out the show. We are here at the 5th annual Nano Cask Festival.
It is Nano because it's so small.
I didn't know if we were still rolling with that, but we are here. This is my second time here. Travis?
Same with me, yes.
We're psyched to be here. We've been here once previously. We had a great time. So we'd like to first off thank Donavan Hall that we're speaking with for inviting us.
And the Rocky Point Artisan Brewers as a whole.
He's here on behalf of the Rocky Point Artisan Brewers. He is the voice, the united front, as we were discussing earlier. We had a conversation off the record, so this is on the record now. First off, I mean, Donovan's very much a hat man. If you're not familiar with him or the Rocky Point Artisan Brewers.
We own our hats.
So on my way here today, Travis and I were like, let's unveil. Well, I was more so like, let's unveil these sweet black hats that we bought. And they're a little more formal, but we're rolling out our logo officially today. This is the first event that we've attended that wasn't our own.
Mike told me I have to put on a few pounds to appreciate this heavy sombrero.
Yeah, I mean, the slimness of Trav has really adversely affected our ability to wear those today and show off, our beautiful faces, because they're a little bit smaller hat, but a little fancier, a little bit more handcrafted, and I'm personally disappointed because we couldn't not wear the same hat.
Well, and they match your nice sweatshirts.
Our new logo the Mike designed.
Yeah, I mean they were black with a little silver. They were very much an homage to the Three Amigos, which played such a huge part in us establishing ourselves as the Beer Amigos. Obviously, we're better looking than those three dudes, but I think they have a little bit more film experience. But let's get to actually down to the beer part. I am drinking my second glass of Crom, and I was informed that the only way to order it, because I was raised correctly. My mom's a hell of a woman. My dad as well. I'll give him due diligence. But prefacing with like, may I have, thank you, so on and so forth. But I was told that I was only allowed to order this beer exactly as this. I'm going to quote and then end quote it. Crom! In any varying volume, or but that's essentially how it's done. Is that not right, Donna?
That's right. We've been working with the people here today to bring them into this culture of Crom, the Crom worship, actually, and the god Crom prefers to be referred to as Crom. Crom. Right, Crom. And when you yell this word, you get your glass filled with Crom.
And if you don't, it's filled with disappointment.
That's right. But nobody's been disappointed today because everybody has yelled, Crom!
And you have to get the word out. You have to have like a grace period. We're presently in the grace period of Crom!
I'm actually drinking the Rocky Point chocolate Bock, which is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
And that's fine to say. Hey, Mike designed our logo, and everyone says, your logo is great, and I say, yes, it's unbelievable. it's fine to be proud of what you do, right, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you're like, Travis's part in that coming to fruition was him being like, yeah, bro, looks great. But like, I feel like you can be proud of what you do. If you're not, then you probably are not a very, confident person or.
That's how I help with the beers at Rocky Point Artisan Brewers. Mike makes a beer, and he says, hey, man, how is this? And I say, oh, man, it's great.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've really contributed because I have assessed this product, and I said it is worthy of going out to the good citizens of Rocky Point.
Absolutely. I mean, modestly confident is like a very much okay thing. I mean, I feel like you can be confident and be a modest person. I mean, we're beer guys discussing beer amongst one another. So, I mean, people that are listening to our show kind of know our style, and they learn new things every show. So, Crom it is, man. Let's do it. I actually got back online to have the chocolate Bock. What's its proper name, Donovan? I'm sorry.
Chocolate Bock.
All right.
Wow. What do they say in Wayne's World? Not just a clever name.
So I got online for that, but I was thinking about it, and I was like, I definitely want that Crom. So that's what I had, again, and I'm okay with that because this is something that I know that you brewed previously, and you went through incredibly fast, right? Possibly, the quickest brew you've sold through. Is that accurate or no?
That's actually true. It was a collaboration with a number of people. There's a home brewer named John, and I had too much beer. I don't remember his last name at the moment. But anyway.
You remembered his first name, which is important enough.
John, the excellent yeast propagator.
John Crom?
John Crom.
Okay.
And he actually is the one that harvests the Conan yeast for us. And so we were working with him, and we came up with this. It's a cocktail of hops to put into the beer.
Is it Condizella?
Condizella?
I never say his name correctly, but is that
John Condizella.
We actually, for this, we had to order some special hops. Conzella has some wonderful hops that we do use in our Pilsner. But for this one, we ordered some Citra, some Amarillo, and Centennial. And these are the main hops that you'll find in the flavor and the aroma part of the beer. But yes, you're right. We brewed a small batch, 100 gallons, as a kind of a challenge because there were some people on Beer Advocate that were saying, well, Long Island doesn't have any really decent IPAs, and we're like, well, yeah, actually there are. We do like some of the IPAs on Long Island, but we'll make a double IPA and we'll put it out there and compare it against any of the other double IPAs and see what you think. And so if you look on Beer Advocate, there's some rankings for the Crom, and it did pretty well. And I think because of that, it sold out really quickly, like within the first week.
The power of the Beer Advocate.
Yes. So we're learning that, and we made another batch, and it is just now ready. This is our second batch of Crom. This is the first firkin of it available today. We'll be making more.
Mike, what's that Facebook page we're both part of? Like the League of Extraordinary Beer Palates?
Sure. That's it.
I'm not exaggerating when I do say someone on that Facebook page compared that beer, Crom, to Heady Topper. I don't know if you saw that.
Right. So that was the idea. The guy that John, who's
John Crom.
He's actually
John Crom.
He's in the building right now. You guys should talk to him. He
John
was
of Crom, can we call him that?
He actually got the Conan yeast from a Heady Topper can, and that's how he propagated up the yeast for us. He brought this big jug of Conan yeast from a Heady Topper can. So yes, we had that in mind. None of us like Simcoe hop, so it's not in there in our version. So
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the gauntlet was thrown in the sense that someone essentially called Long Island out on not having an IPA worthy of being discussed. So you were like, we see your IPA and we double it, which I totally respect. I like your style, Donovan. Now, this beer coming to fruition, do you think... I mean, I feel like double IPAs are very much the rave now with all the success of Heady and even like the Victory Dirt Wolf and so on and so forth, where everyone's like, they just want, the double IPA. Is that kind of what your inspiration was in being like, all right, let's do this and let's do it well? This beer is awesome, man. I mean, there's no tiptoeing around it or being, whatever. This beer is great, and if you have the opportunity to order this or enjoy this beer, you should. But maybe you can give us a little insight as to your thinking behind it.
Well, what we were thinking was, because people do use this beer as a yardstick for how good a brewery are you, how good a brewing region are you. We thought, all right, we'll do it. We've always said in the past, there are good IPAs being made, and we'll let the other breweries, because us, we do German people we do Belgian styles. This is not our normal thing, but. When people were saying things about Long Island as a beer region on Beer Advocate, we thought we're going to step up to the plate and represent Long Island. So this is not just about Rocky Point Artisan Brewers. This is about our beer culture here, because this is a collaboration with home brewers and other people in our extended network of people that we know here on the island making this beer. So that's why we didn't just make it by ourselves. We wanted to bring the people in on Long Island and say, this is what we could do here when we put our minds to it. We can make great beer on Long Island.
Yeah. Purpose.
While we're on the topic of this, because we kind of alluded to the other breweries that are making double IPAs, I'm just kind of curious. You're well versed in this. You're very active in the beer community and beer clubs forming on Long Island. But I kind of wanted to know your thought of just the Alchemist in general and how they've built a brand off of essentially one beer style. I know you're a writer and you have a great voice overall, but I'm just really curious what your perception and thought of that is.
And someone was just talking to me as you were asking me that question, so
we can repeat it and we can edit this podcast.
Yeah, I'll just repeat it. I was kind of curious your thought, behind like the Alchemist that has built their brand on one beer alone, a double IPA, and how your perception and the beer community perception in general.
Well, thank you for repeating that. I'm a big fan of the Alchemist. I love the beer. We've got a lot of people here that like that. It's fantastic stuff. I would say, any small brewery that can generate that kind of excitement about something they're doing is a good thing. So I don't really have any problem with what they're doing. I think it's a good model, and in some degree, what we're doing is almost honoring that, because we didn't stray too far from Heady Topper with this beer. We said, look, we like this beer. We're going to make a beer that we like. We're recording right now, by the way. So this is my buddy Tim. He wants to be on the podcast too.
Tim,
say hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Tim
And
has joined us.
So what I think is that if you like something, and you want to improve on it, you can. It's a template. Use the template. Make it better. Make it work for whatever you want to do.
I mean, it's the celebration of a style that people enjoy, and I mean, it sets other people up to, it kind of sets the benchmark for success in that specific beer style, and gives you something to attempt, potentially achieve. And Crom is representing our region with
very well,
very, very well. So maybe you could give us a little background on how this festival came to fruition. What made you start this?
Oh yeah,
Tim can comment on the Crom.
I want to comment on the Crom because I'm getting older and I'm kind of veering away from IPAs, and they served me a double IPA, and it was delicious.
Stellar.
It was delicious.
Agreed.
I would like to know if you know how to properly order a Crom.
What they told me is I just have to say Crom.
Word is spreading like wildfire. Thank you for reiterating the knowledge, and now our listeners know that if you see a Crom,
there's only one way to acquire it.
There is only one way you're going to get it, and that's how you order it. Keeping it light as always, but great that you could share this beer with us and with the attendance of this festival.
And we are curious how this festival as a whole came to fruition 5 years ago.
Do you want me to go back to the festival?
Let's go. Festival number one. When did this start in your head?
Okay, so what happened was, all of us were in Long Island Beer Malt Enthusiasts, and
Mike and I are charter members,
as are we. And so we had made lots of beer for the Blue Point Cask Ale Festival, which was at the end of January. So we had all this beer that we had made, and we found out a week or two ahead of time that because of permitting issues, the Blue Point Festival had to be moved to April. So we had a bunch of beer. A lot of us had casks of beer, and we're like, we're going to drink this beer. So we invited the whole club to our brewery, which is here in Rocky Point, and it was like 7 below zero that day. We fired up the deep fryer, and everybody was in a tent. We deep fried, butter and marshmallows, and we had 7 or 8 casks of beer that we had made. I think poor Jeff. They weren't actually in business at the time, but I think they contributed a cask also in that one. But
and was that the first annual?
That was the first one.
That's great.
And we decided the following year, we said, all right, we can't have 100 people at our brewery. It's not really that big. Let's have it at Dex, and Dex hosted us. The next year, it was bigger than Dex. So we've had it for the last 3 years here at the North Shore Beach Owners Association Clubhouse in the middle of Rocky Point, and now we have the after party at Dex. So
Still supporting those local businesses despite outgrowing them potentially from an event standpoint. So that's awesome, man. I mean, it's a great thing how it started so organically. Like, oh crap, we had this this
drink a bunch of beer.
Yeah, we had this misfortune, and we have all this deliciously fresh beer. Let's turn it into a positive, and that's great because now this is a solid event, and good things come from unfortunate circumstances sometimes.
Well, what we do for this festival, for people who are considering, well, maybe should I attend next year? What we ask the brewers to do, even if they're big brewers, because it started out as the Nano Cask Festival, because at the time we wanted to encourage this renaissance or this growth of small breweries on Long Island, and a lot of us have this vision. But a few of the small breweries got bigger, and that's okay. We don't have any problem with anybody getting bigger. So what we do is we say, look, even if you're a bigger brewery than a nano brewery, if you will make a special brew in a small batch for our festival, you are welcome to come. Yeah. So any brewery, no matter what your size, if you'll make a 10, 15, 20-gallon batch of something and bring it to our festival, you're welcome to come. So everybody that comes to this festival is getting something that is made in a very small batch just for us.
Yeah, I mean, I know that it's one of my favorite things about cask festivals because you definitely have a unique product where you're like, wow, I'm not going to get this at any bar. I'm not going to get this at their tasting room even. This kind of makes the experience for you, and it also makes brewers think outside the box. If there is the box in regards to styles, but it gives you a little bit of leeway in regards to innovation, which can inevitably result in a beer that you choose to potentially brew and offer year-round, or at least at a seasonal level.
Or what I've seen with some of the brewers here, that they'll take one of their marquee styles and they'll do something different with it.
Right, like Great South Bay did with their winter.
Yeah, their sleigh ride. They put the chocolate and the cayenne in it. I think it's fantastic.
Yes.
It forces the brewers to say, all right, let's take something we do and make it special for this event only.
Yeah, I mean, you're altering the flavor profile, absolutely. So, I mean, from a nose standpoint, everything about that beer is changing. The base of the beer is that, and I kind of perceive it as a celebration of that flagship beer, potentially, that you're reinventing as a one-off. I mean, maybe next time, for perhaps another cask festival, you choose to work with the same base beer, but you may switch it entirely based on the results that you experience. So I think these things are great because it's a lot of feedback from the drinker to the brewer, where their opinion of a beer is even more so evident on their face as opposed to, off a tap, where you may have a style that you're more acclimated to, where you're like, okay, like I kind of know what to expect from this beer, but like this beer blew my mind because it's the curveball essentially of drinking. So
that's the other thing I like about this particular festival. I know we're the hosts, but it's such a small event with just a few people here. You're not overcrowded. When the people come in and they try your beer, they can talk to you as a brewer, and they say, I like this, or or maybe this is something that is not. I'm always surprised at the beer that I think is all right. That is something that somebody's really excited about. The beer that I love, another person is. It reminds me that the reason we brew so many different styles is because there's so many different tastes. And I love it when somebody says, I love this beer, and it maybe wasn't necessarily my favorite, but they love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I take that knowledge with me back to the brewery. And
hi, I'm Donavan Hall.
Yes, you're much better looking than Donavan Hall. So I take that knowledge back with me to the brewery, and it energizes me. So when I'm working in the brewery, it's not glamorous work, people. It's a lot of scrubbing and cleaning and carrying and
Sanitizing.
Yeah, when people say, this beer I love. Okay, so I'm going to show up early on a Monday morning, on a Tuesday morning. I'm going to work my ass off because people told me they love this. And it's making their life better, making their lives happier. Yeah, that's the payoff.
That's great.
I mean, that's definitely something we just did an interview recently, and that was one of the questions was like, what beer would you tell like a beginner drinker to? And I was like, it's really variable from palate to palate. So that's great that you get that feedback from the people that are drinking your beer, because you can kind of gauge like what people love. And again, like what you said might be your favorite may not be, something that the people in the area are going to seek out. They may drink it if it's available, but it's not going to, like, they're not like necessarily overly enthusiastic about it. And at the end of the day, if you can brew a beer that people are really excited about, obviously you want to please the people that are drinking your beer. So I think that's a great thing. This has been awesome. I'm glad we were able to do this.
Thank you.
We weren't able last time. I do know that you, maybe not you necessarily, but you do have some presence at farmer markets locally and some opportunities where people can get growler fills. Perhaps you could share with our listeners where that's a possibility.
Yeah, certainly. We're very much supporters of the local farmers market here in Rocky Point. In fact, the farmers market has a presence here today. A lot of the vendors that are at our farmers market are present. The grass-fed people are here. We've got the cheese. There's a cheese vendor. There's a baker. We wanted to do the farmers market because we don't really have our own tasting room. So we feel like our farmers market here in Rocky Point is our tasting room. So every Sunday morning for 6, 7, 8 months, basically from May to November, we're out there with our newest beer and the beers we normally make for people to try, and if they want, they can take some home with them in a growler. But yeah, I think that's a really important part of what we do, because that's a lot of people here today come because they come to our farmers market, and they know that this is what we do. This is how you get our beer in the off season when it's really freaking cold out.
And where is that located, and what days are you guys there?
So the Rocky Point Farmers Market is at Prince and Broadway, and it basically runs from May until November every year. It starts at 8 a.m. in the morning and goes to 1 p.m. every Sunday. And Rocky Point Artisan Brewers is there every single week.
Obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but you tend to share that information on Facebook if you're going to be present, or if for some reason you're not. Is that correct?
Okay, we missed 1 week last year, and that was because Mike was out of town, Yuri was out of town, I we all have a day job, right? We try to run the brewery professionally, but sometimes our paying jobs, the ones that pay the mortgage, say that we have to be out of town, and so that happened once. So out of that, from May to November, we only missed 1 week, but.
That's a good track record.
So what Donovan's saying is that even if there's a phenomenal football match on, he will be at the farmers market.
What about if there's a soccer match?
That's what I said.
You said you said football.
Yes. Okay. So you guys picked up on another thing. Football, soccer is extremely important to Rocky Point Artisan Brewers. We're actually, one of the things we're really excited about is supporting the local the soccer culture here. Both Mike and myself have been youth soccer coaches. That's another thing we put our energy into.
Can I tell you, I played kindergarten through high school.
That is so awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Left wing.
Oh, excellent. My son plays my left midfield.
All right. I play midfield as well, but usually left wing.
All right.
I played fullback and sweeper. I'm a defensive-minded man. Someone's got to do the dirty work.
Right. Well, one of the reasons why 3 of our beers are always on tap at Creators Bar in Mount Sinai is that's our soccer pub. Kenny and Robin they're wonderful people. Anytime you want to watch a match, they'll put it on. And so the Cross Island Crew, which is the Cosmos supporters group that's out here, they meet there at Creators at least once a month, and for every away viewing at that venue, and we enjoy locally brewed craft beer at Creators while watching our local Long Island soccer team. So yeah,
I don't think it gets much better than that, right, Mike?
That sounds good stuff. That sounds like good stuff, man. I'm excited to hear that. I'm glad you're able to share that with our listeners. And we look forward to great things coming out of Rocky Point. Donavan, you're an awesome dude. We always look forward to getting to talk with you. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Donavan.
My pleasure.
Hey, this is Bellport Dave, and I'm here at the Long Island Craft Beer Nano Cask Festival or something like that with the Beer Amigos.
That wraps up another episode of the Beer Amigos.
It was short and sweet, just like Mike.
Hey!
So we want to thank Donavan and the Rocky Point Artisan Brewers for having us here at the 5th Annual Long Island Nano Cask Ale Festival. As Mike said, we want to dedicate this episode to the festival and to them, so that's why we want to highlight Donavan and the Rocky Point Artisan Brewers.
Mike and Yuri didn't participate, but they were there in heart and spirit.
So as always, you can email us at thebeeramigos@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/thebeeramigos, on Twitter at twitter.com/thebeeramigos, on Instagram at instagram.com/thebeeramigos.
All day, every day.
And obviously, as always, we will be in touch. And we do want to let you know that on February 8th, we will be at the Hops and Props Craft Beer Festival in Garden City at the Museum of Aviation. If you do not have your tickets yet, you should buy them, and we will certainly be there podcasting.
Because Trav believes he can fly. He believes he can touch the sky.
I can fly. So until next time, adios, amigos.
Thanks for listening.
We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer. We are amigos. And that's why we call ourselves the Beer Amigos.
Everybody.
We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer. We are amigos. And that's why we call ourselves the Beer Amigos.